First of all, talk us through the background as to how you came up with these targets.
Well, I think essentially the background is we're very disappointed that progress has been so slow. And there's an enormous amount of data about how slow it has been. And for example, chief executive women have a census, and it identified that only 30 ASX companies, ASX 200 companies, had achieved gender balance in 2020. So really there is a clear need for action. And I think there's some great research that targets do work. I think there was a time we were hoping we'd get there without targets. But there is good research that targets do bring the focus and the scrutiny, and hence we have launched 40/40 Vision, setting those targets for 2030.
Debbie, to put it plainly, what are the consequences and the implications for company boards that don't meet this target, that don't take this action? Would you be supportive of voting out directors, for example?
We have already supported in terms of board diversity, so boards that do not have diversity at the board level, we have actually voted against the appointment of senior directors. So I think that's one action that, that shareholders definitely can take. But I think we mustn't underestimate the possibility of influence through engagement. And, you know, we see gender diversity as a financial risk in the portfolio, that companies that do fail to consider 50% of the population for leadership positions are potentially missing out on amazing leaders. And I think that's been generally recognised across Australia. But what we need is the focus and the scrutiny and the setting of targets. And it's not just the 2030 target. We're actually asking companies to set their own targets for 2023 and 2027 so that they can get to the 40/40 achievement in 2030. And to report transparently on those targets, which actually gives an opportunity for all the investors involved in 40/40 Vision to engage directly with the companies, and that transparency, that visibility of how the company is going against the targets that they've identified.
Will there be more signatories soon?
Well, we already have we have signatories representing $1 trillion in terms of investors. And we will be seeking more. We are going to work with the community. We really wanted to get the protocols, the governance in place, the vision in place, as well as obviously the support of that inaugural group of investors. But now that we've launched it, we will be engaging with a lot of other investors in Australia and seeking further support.
Explain to us a little bit more your engagement program. What exactly do you mean by that, and how are you dealing with these companies in persuading them to become part of this 40/40 vision?
Well, first of all, I think it's the profile. I think it's making it very clear, you know, launching this, having a very particular program of work. And it's actually supported by amazing other organisations. We know we can't do this alone. So, for example, the Workplace Gender Equality Agency, Chief Executive Women, the Australian Council of Superannuation Investors, and the 30% Club, they're all supporters of this work. So I think it's got a lot of voices and a lot of influence behind it. So we will engage with companies on the back of that. And obviously we engage closely. These are the 200 largest companies in Australia. There's a lot of interest and a lot of engagement from the investors, partly through the Australian Council of Superannuation Investors, but also directly by investors like HESTA. And it really is engaging quite deeply. We have meetings through the year. We engage deeply when there are critical issues. And obviously gender diversity, from our point of view, is very much at the top of the list. And in fact, ahead of the AGM season this year, we've actually written to the ASX 200 company chairs and CEOs to really outline our priorities, outline the 3 things that we think are most important going into this AGM season. So it's a very active engagement program.